Yo, before we get started, I need to apologize. I am really, really bad at reading scripts. Unless I'm doing a silly voice, it kind of defaults to this kind of school marm thing, and it's something I really need to work on. Anyway, onto the video. Hi there. There are a ton of fun challenges for artists floating around the internet, but there don't seem to be many for MikuMikuDance. I thought I'd remedy that by making one of my own, the Textures in Your Room Challenge. To do this challenge, you just need to take a model and add textures made from pictures of objects from around your room. Of course, it can be from anywhere in your house, not just your room. But since from your room sounds a little bit more catchy than textures from your house, I'm sticking with that name. Dancing in the background is my first attempt at the challenge. I had an idea of what I wanted the outfit to be, and I completely overestimated my abilities. I didn't spend too much time on it, so you can tell it's really rough. As with any fun artistic challenge, seriously, I can see the pixels on my screen. I'm leaning so close so that my mic. As with any fun artistic challenge, you can't break the rules. You can only go against the spirit of them. For more information on the spirit of the rules, check the description box. Half of the fun of the challenge is showing off how crafty you were in picking out the objects. When you finish the challenge, make sure to make a video or deviation or blog post describing what you used for what. Before I get started, I just want to say that what camera you use depends on what look you want. I use my iPhone 5 camera for almost everything, but for this I used my Nikon Coolpix. That allowed me to get really high quality pictures. However, it also meant that the textures were a little too high quality. You could go in and blur the textures, but you'd skip that step if you just use a camera that didn't produce such high definition pictures. Now, on to the challenge. The first idea I had when I thought up this idea was the belt. I wanted it to look cool and edgy while still looking feminine. So I used my shoe. I accidentally left the UV map on top of the image. Whoops! If you look closely, you can see the lines from the UV map. Up next was the hair. I used the same image for both the hair and the eyebrows. I will admit, the brows turned out pretty poorly, and the hair was only slightly better. If I blurred it out a bit, it would have... I'm so bad at reading scripts. If I blurred it out a bit, it would have automatically looked better. But I wanted to have fun, not make things pretty. For the hair, I used the fringe of a scarf my mom crocheted for me. There are a lot of parts here, and it's a little hard to see a few of them because of the glasses. When I first thought of this idea, the thing I thought that would be the hardest to figure out was the eye. As you can see, I had some struggles with mapping a low poly eye. There are only 4 faces per eye. However, I think I came up with a pretty cool solution. A doorknob. In the texture, I darkened the center so that it would look more like a pupil and less like, well, a doorknob. For both the lenses of the glass and the whites of the eyes, which you can't see very well, I used the same image. However, I used different parts of it. For the lenses of the glasses, I used part of my hairbrush. For the whites, I used the wall behind my hairbrush. Quick note, sorry I'm just breaking character all the time here, but outless brushes are the best hairbrushes. Like, I can't use anything else at this point. Anyway. For the glasses, I was originally stumped. I didn't know what they should I didn't know what they should look like, but then it hit me. She was wearing mostly brown, so shiny copper glasses would look pretty cool. For the frames of the glasses, I used an old vape. It had been dropped on pavement many times, so it had a really interesting texture. There wasn't much skin on this model, but what skin there was, I textured using a shipping box from my favorite online vape store. While there are quite a few issues with the texture, I'm sure that with a bit of blurring, it would look pretty awesome. I wasn't really sure what to make the coat look like, and then it hit me. It would look pretty cool if I used a picture of one of my blankets. Which brings us to another one of my blankets. For the ruffs, I wanted them to be somewhat classy and old Hollywood, and that's not really how they turned out. I used the underside of my blanket to make the woolly looking cuffs. While I was trying to figure out what the shirt should look like, I wandered around my room and my bathroom until this caught my eye. It was just a random pack of razors, but the cardboard backing just looks really pretty to me, so I knew I had to use it. The pants were the part I was most excited about. Even if I had never decided to do this challenge, I probably still would have made a model with this texture. It's just the pattern on my suitcase. Something about the pattern really spoke to me, and I knew I had to use it. And that brings us to the shoes, which are the only things I felt I modeled well. I had no idea what to do for the shoes, and for that reason, the result ended up being a tiny bit silly. For the soles of the shoes, I used another old vape. For the leather part of the shoes, I don't know what to call it, I used the lid of my laptop. Well, that's all of the materials. I hope this inspires someone to try experimenting around with different ways of making textures for their MikuMikuDance models. I feel like I'm supposed to come up with some way to be like, May Blythe signing out. And I'm just like, this was bad. This was a bad video.